actually. And I studied in Abia State. I went to a community secondary school in Ovim. After that, I went to Federal University of Technology, Owerri, Futo. I earned a bachelor degree in electrical electronics engineering, specialized in electronics computer engineering. And I would say, at the highest of all, that Futo is the best university in the world. And I know I've been to many. So you can count on that. It's a very wonderful school.
So basically, you actually...
Yeah, I went to a film community school. But I would say this, that the secondary school in my village is actually better than the federal government schools. Because if you live in a film, we have about how many governors? My kinsman, former governor of Imo State, is my kinsman. So our schools are really very good. So don't just think it's another community school. It's really, in short, Abia State University today does their computer science experiment in my secondary school. So it's a very good one. And
so you have a very good background. But do you think your parents play a very strong role in your growing up?
Absolutely. I know I was brought up with a sense of decency, honor, and values. I actually grew up in the Scripture Union. So I grew up as a young man that I knew one thing, that if I do the right thing, irrespective of where I was coming from, that grace and mercy will see me to the mountaintop. So I am a guy of faith, and I have always had this confidence that hard work can take you to any dimension or any level you desire to be.
So where are you from in the east?
I'm from Ofim, in a village in Abia State, just very close to Umuahia, about 35 minutes from Umuahia, the capital of Abia State. I'm from the same village as the former chief of army staff, Major Lieutenant General Ejika, and the former governor of Lagos State, Rear Admiral Ndubisi Gano, and the former governor of Imo State, Major General Ejika. In fact, in my village, you see most very, very important people. I'm from a very wonderful place.
So from there you went to Futa. So how did you get Futo? So how did you get from Futo? How do you get to the US? Is it that I want to know? Is it that your life was planned, or is it that you didn't just happen on food like that? Or I want to know, is it that every step you took along the way, was it planned?
I would say likely that my footsteps are planned, of course, because I'm a man of faith. But however, nothing was really an accident in a way, because when I was finishing from Futo, I was the best graduating student in my class, and I had a job from Slumbeja. I had another job from the first CDMA company in Nigeria, Borders Telecoms. They gave me a very good car, gave me a driver with a Mercedes. They gave me a three-bedroom furnished apartment in Aba. So I finished my class project in Futo on a Friday, and on Monday, I moved to a three-bedroom furnished apartment with a driver and a car. But you see, I became a little bit concerned. How can I just finish my life and it's to make money at that very young age? So I made a decision that I was going to leave the company because I just didn't feel comfortable getting into that kind of life at that very young age. Because before you know it, my life will be wake up in the morning, go to work, come in the evening, go and eat ukwobi in Aba, and that's like that, nothing more. So I decided that I would like to go to the United States to get a PhD in my field. I really had this confidence that getting a doctoral degree in electrical engineering will be one of the finest moments I would like to say I've accomplished in my career. So, but before then, I had to raise the money. I didn't have the money, so I had to pick a job in a bank, in Diamond Bank. And in Diamond Bank, I did 2 master's programs, one in Akure. I actually went to Akure, and the MBA University of Calabar. and then a correspondence program in London for a doctorate degree in banking and finance. It was when I was doing that my supervisor now told me that I was really very brilliant, that he would like to get me a visa to come to London. So he wrote a letter to the UK embassy that I should go to the UK embassy, that he would like to see me, that I should come to London. So the driver in Diamond Bank went. It was to be a one single entry visa. So when we go to the embassy said, hey, we've never seen this kind of letter from this professor. So we want to give you a multiple 2-year. Do you have money to pay for this gentleman? The driver somehow had money paid for me, and just like that. So I would say I didn't plan immediately to be leaving Nigeria, but this man I didn't know him. He was just my supervisor reading what I was writing for the doctoral program, and he had a lot of attention. So at the end of the day, I got a NASA fellowship to come to the United States. So NASA helped in my fellowship, but that was when I actually arrived in the United States. Initially, I was living Nigeria without anything really. I didn't have any scholarship. I didn't have any fellowship. But when I got to the United States, actually God opened doors that I was able to receive fellowship from NASA.
Wow. And what gave result to that fellowship? Was it automatic? How were you able to get that done?
No, it was when I got to US. Actually, living US was more a matter of faith. I just believed that America had money. And if I felt I was really very brilliant, if they were giving one person scholarship, they were going to find me out and give me one. So when I got to US, I didn't have money. I just went to the head of department in the university and told him that, hey, that I was in the bank, I was managing the bank's network. I have seen some of the challenges they were having in the department, that I can help them fix the problem. And just like that, the man couldn't believe it. And so I helped. Then as they started seeing my skill sets, there was some scholarship available. One of them was from NASA. They interviewed me. At the end of the day, they now awarded me that NASA fellowship. And then by the time they gave me the NASA fellowship, I actually started becoming a big boy, because it was a very good scholarship. Yeah, and good things happened because of that.
Prof, what it means is that you showcase your skill set to the school.
Yes. I work pro bono. I helped them fix some problems in their network, because when I was in Diamond Bank, I was in the software automation unit, but I also got the certification in Cisco and certification in Microsoft. So those things were simple things. The bank was paying me. So when I got to UX, they needed consultants to do those things for them. I just said, hey, you don't have to pay an external consultant. Somebody from Nigeria has this skill, and I can just do it for you free. So when I told the other department, in America, there is no free lunch. And all of a sudden, you see this guy from Nigeria who can get the job done, and he doesn't want you to pay him. So in a way, they were very, very appreciative of the fact that I could get the job done. And then those opportunities started coming. I think that was really the breakthrough, because I found a way to give them something before they could actually give me something. And that was the confidence I had in America, that if you can show excellence, the society will find a way to reward you.
I don't want to go too much deeper in your NYC. You remember?
Yes. I was in university. I had many job offers before I could finish, and there were also a lot of opportunities. And when I served in Jos, and when I was in Jos, one afternoon, there was a message from the NYC Secretariat. The director of NYC Secretariat at that time, her name is Dr. Mrs. Abbasi. They sent for somebody that studied electrical engineering to come and to network their solution in the NYC Secretariat in Jos. So I went there, They say that they have been. So I went there. They say that they have been. I did my first federal government. And when I did that job, I bought a car. I actually imported a car from. And I paid a lot of money. And, but the worst part of it, is this award they call best? An Igbo man, this Igbo man, it doesn't go out of us, Yeah, and he was very good. He was very good because.
So that we don't waste so much time. I know you have a lot of story, but I'm privileged to have idea to some of your story. So I'll try to be picking it on so that we don't take so much of your time. Quick one, but how does the invention started? Is it that you have flair? You've shown already that you have flair for providing solutions. Okay, that have been established in your NYC, in your school, and even abroad, even at the bank where you are working. So it's obvious that you are looking for solution to provide, which in return brings back money. Okay. Now, how come you started doing invention? Is it that it's part of your project that suddenly, or it was a conscious effort?
I think the key thing here is really having this human philosophy that challenges have to be solved. There is this construct in Nigeria, or I would say in Africa, where if you see a problem, you just go and write it in the Vanguard or the Guardian newspaper. And once you have written it, you have done your part. Whether that problem has been solved or not, you don't care. But when I got to the United States, I saw that the beauty of the nation is not on the writing, but actually in getting things done. And I also can take it back to where I grew up in the village. The most successful people you could see in the village were actually the most in terms of being very, very different in what they do. So, very, very different in what they do. So, in having products and services, I would say that innovation is where I like to focus on. How do we solve problems instead of just postulating ideas? Because innovation is equals to invention plus commercialization. Until you have commercialized it, it is just an idea. So if you have that philosophy that problems in the market have to be fixed, it means that you have to take that product idea from the conceptual idea into a real product. I think that's the driver. It doesn't change whether it's in America, whether it's in Kenya, whether it's in Nigeria. If you have it, you have it. And the key thing is that when you see something that is broken, you ask yourself, is there anything I can do beyond just talking about it to actually making things happen? I think that is the philosophy, and that is actually some of the things I have seen in America, and that's the life I like to live.
Wow, that's great. So I know you have invention you are part of people that developed the accelerator on the iPhone. Is it part of your PhD work or it was a separate work?
No. That was actually when I finished PhD, I got a job in one of the finest semiconductor companies in the world. They make about 78% of all the converters that are used in the world. Analog Device is a premier semiconductor company. It's actually one of the most difficult companies to get into. So when I got in, the job was to build a accelerometer that we use in an iPhone. So I hold a PhD in that domain and in managing very small, discrete signals. And they wanted to translate that knowledge in the medical field into building what they call MEMS interface, micro-electromechanical systems, essentially the interface between the mechanical and the electrical engineering domain. So it was a very fascinating opportunity as a young man then to get involved at the highest level of engineering and technology. So it was actually after my PhD.
Wow, excellent. What of the other one that government is using right now that you get the license for the patent?
Yeah, that was actually my PhD work. That was is on my doctorate work in the Johnson, the PhD in electrical and computer engineering, specializing in robotics. I basically build systems that have the capacity to operate on human beings through the help of robots. So there's what we call the laryngoscope, what we call the endoscope. You can have robots that can go through those tools to go and do suturing and other navigational things through the human body. So that work was originally designed for medical robots.
Quick one. Someone asked that what's your PhD all about?
My PhD focused on basically the broad field of microelectronics. I build sensors and which are applicable in the area of robotics. And that area comes into what we call neuromorphics. Neuromorphics is a special branch of electrical engineering that focuses on understanding human biology, understanding human anatomy, and then figuring out how you can translate that human being system into microprocessors in terms of silicon. So we have what we call event-driven asynchronous parallelism of the central nervous system, understanding the neurons and the synapses, and how you can clone them into microprocessors.
See, academic, I have to be careful so that we don't go. But that is fine.
I think I'm trying to explain to the young man or the young woman. So it's called neuromorphics.
Okay.
It's a branch of engineering.
But we've gotten it. It's part of microbiology and all of this. Mm-hmm. The most important thing is that you'll be able to use this idea to provide value that is generating income. Maybe for you, for the school, for everything.
Yes.
There's a myth that is amazing about you. Okay? We have a lot of professors out there. They don't make money with their knowledge. We have a lot of professors out there. We have a lot of PhD holders. We have they have the title. They have the professor, but they don't generate. Good income, not to be paid salary. Okay, how are you able to get this blend of being a good professor, being a good student, and to also become a good businessman?
I think that one is because of the Igbo Korakpo in me. You know, we like.
Can this habit be developed? Can this habit be developed?
I would say if you grow up in a typical Igbo community, I said it proudly. Even if you have a PhD, it's happening to do more than Alaba and Aris. It's a kind of upbringing that satisfaction in any job is not just that somebody is paying you a lot of money, but also what you are doing for yourself. So I think it's this spirit of entrepreneurship. It's the spirit of individualism. It's the spirit of entrepreneurial capitalism, where you think that you can hustle, and that you can elevate your life and elevate the lives of other people around you. So it's not just about having knowledge and everything is in your head. It's more of how have you used that to help people. So I think growing up in Owerri and growing up in the village, we could see that not the most intelligent people may actually find success in life, but rather people that can actually take action. So you may have all the whole knowledge every morning, you just read newspaper and sleep. And the night, you read another newspaper and sleep. Nothing will change. So it's more of a philosophical movement of personal entrepreneurial capitalism, where you say, hey, I can improve my life, I can also improve the lives of people. This has nothing to do with money, I must say. It's just a way of life. Because if money is a factor, there are so many rich people in the world, by now they will not be working. It's like, if it's your way of life, make this decision because they're going to give you money. You just make this decision because that is your way of life. And I think that's the very
basically, if I get you, Prof, you are basically saying that it's just having this entrepreneurial spirit. Being, as you're working, you have this consciousness that you have to think about how you can generate income to better your life and people around you. And
yes.
the community at large. Not about just doing research for doing sake. So there's been conscious effort on making something from what you're doing. Income. Generating income. Giving value that can generate income. Am I right?
Yeah, it's turning it into value. And that value could be defined in many ways. But in this case, it's helping people. Yes, improving the lives of others. It may not necessarily be me, because if it's for me, maybe one can just, in short, when I left the company, the industry to take a job as a professor, I took a pay cut. That's always the thing. You know, no university will pay you what they pay you in the industry. But there is also one advantage. If you work in the industry, just you making tons of money. But if you work in the university, you can now influence people. You can help people. You can mentor people. So everything in life depends on what is it that really drives you. You know, there are people that work in Apple. Their lives are basically go to work, go back home, go to work, go back home. That's it. And they make tons of money. That's just the life they want to live. But somebody may say, I don't want to live that kind of life. I want to have an opportunity that I can go to primary school and teach for maybe every month, once in a month. You know, there are things that are beyond money that can give you satisfaction in life. That's the point I'm trying to make.
Prof, do you think that your success is related to because you are very intelligent? Would you say that it's because you are a smart boy?
I have to be very humble because I've seen more intelligent people and very smart people. You know, we are all village boys. But one thing
I know. Do you think that it's because you are academically sound, because you're academically sound, that is what makes you achieve this much of success? I want to know because you know all of us are not that brilliant on that level.
No. You know, the success in life from my own experience and also from my own understanding, it's not necessarily a question of being academically talented. I always tell my classmates when I was in Futo, I was not the brightest guy in class. But I was always the guy always topping the class because I work hard. In short, the brightest student when I got to Futo in our year one, he dropped out in the second semester because he had a very lousy habit. By 9 a.m. he was still sleeping. But those days in Futo, if you don't go to class by 4 a.m., you will not stay in the front because there were no seats, especially the general studies class. So for you to attend the class starting at 8 o'clock, you need to be at least 6 a.m. waiting for the professor if you want to hear him. Because they used to use the loudspeaker or all the public address system to speak those days.
Prof, so I can say, from what you have said, it's about determination.
Determination and discipline.
Determination and discipline.
Perseverance. It's not, I mean, you need to be smart to a level. But it's not a question of being a genius. Because you could be very smart, and if you don't have discipline, I'll give you an example, just a practical example. You may have 10 chapters to cover for an exam. And you say, okay, I have 10 chapters for this exam. So let me start planning a week before to review it. Another student will say, no, let me just wait for 24 hours to the exam. I will review the 10 chapters. He may be smarter, but he could get to only maybe 7 chapters before he runs out of time. Whereas you, who may not be smarter, you have planned that you have to cover the 10 chapters. And by the time you get to the exam hall, you are prepared for the 10 chapters, whereas himself was only prepared for 7. At the end of the day, you may do better than you.
So basically, discipline.
Yeah. So that's the way I see life. It's not about being smart per se. It's the ability to organize yourself. You know, if you don't organize yourself very well, you could be very smart and you cannot accomplish anything. I have seen people with first class, people with very good grades all over, but they cannot manage their lives because they are not managing their time. You know, when a man or a woman can manage his is at hand, he or she will find great success in life. That's what it is.
So time management is key.
Yes. Personal organization. No,
Prof, now if we have people out there that want to start, because I know you are part of a lot of startup in Africa and all over the world. I want to know, what would you advise for new people that are starting new businesses right now? They are starting new businesses. Some of them don't even know what to do, how to go about it, where to go, and how they don't even have anything to do. They just want to, they are eager to be successful. They are eager to have a good life. What advice will you give to someone who, one, does not have an idea yet, one, has an idea but doesn't know if the idea is the right one? What advice would you give someone that is just starting from scratch right now?
Okay, first thing first is starting a business is not a vacation job. To start a business is a vacation job. Oh, I'm tired of listening to this, my CEO, my boss. I hate her, I hate him. So let me go and start my own company so I can be the boss. I can do whatever I want to do. I'm telling you, starting a business is not a vacation job. In short, if you want to be successful as an entrepreneur, you must be ready to work 10 times more than you would have worked for somebody else. Because there is no more 8 o'clock to 5 p.m. or 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Those kind of things. Because life now is not 24 hours. Work for yourself. Because if you don't work for yourself, you don't get paid. The bills will not stop. My recommendation to people is this. If you want to go and do something for yourself, be aware that if you are not doing another person's job and you think you're already carrying a lot of effort, if you have to run it for yourself, then you have to multiply it by the factor of 10. But if you have a good idea, one of the most fascinating things about entrepreneurship is that if it succeeds or if it works out, your benefits are in multiples, not linear. When I say multiples, you can just transition from being this guy in Lagos into something else. I give an example. Look at those guys that when they raise this $10 million and $7 million, it means that on paper, some of them are already multi-millionaires in dollars. But if they have been working for somebody, maybe the person would have been paying them 250,000 naira a month. Meaning that if they have to work for 30 years, they will not even smell that place they have gotten to. So starting something is good, but make sure that you have the right incentive. The right incentive, in my own opinion, is not just necessarily you want to go and start to make money. Rather, see a motivation that you want to change the world on something. See a motivation that you want to change the society on something. Because if you have that incentive, you have an inner motivation to keep doing if the frustrations come. Because you're going to have frustrations. You're going to have drawbacks. So if it's just about the money, hey, if it doesn't work within a week, you go back and get another job. But if you have a mission of something you want to change, if those challenges come, you say, hey, I know they will be, but let me keep pushing. So that is what makes great entrepreneurs legends. The drive is not about the money. The drive is to make an impact in the world. And when you make an impact, it usually translates to money because the society will reward you for having them fix a friction that exists in the marketplace. Because the essence of having companies is to fix market frictions. People have problems they want you to fix. And the day you fix them, they pay you money as revenue. So if you can do that very well and help those people to solve their problems, you are going to make money in the process. That is what capitalism is all about. But you need to have the right incentives.
Thank you, Prof. I want to ask you a question that some people are asking here. They say, what is the difference when you say a company is a startup? What does it mean?
So a startup is a company that is growing very fast. It is not a function of the number of years the company has been in business. It's not a function of whether it's a technology company or not. A startup is a company that is run by an entrepreneur, not a small business owner. A malam who has a small shop in front of your yard in Lagos or Aba is a small business owner. He's not an entrepreneur. The village man in my village who has a convenience store where people can go and buy cashier, buy things, he's not an entrepreneur. He's a small business owner. The mama put in Oshobo, where mama Kevi, you want to go and eat food. That's not an entrepreneur. That is a small business owner. So the problem we have is that we confuse entrepreneurs and small business owners. So the difference between an entrepreneur and a small business owner is that an entrepreneur, his business grows rapidly. So you see the company, 3 people today, within less than 3 years, 100 people. But if you go back to that malam, that shop has had 1 person in the last 15 years. The shop has not expanded. Nothing has changed. He's not an entrepreneur. And he is not running a startup. He is running a small business. But so for a small business to become a startup, it means that it has to be growing rapidly. That is when a small business becomes a startup. But if it's trust, no growth, year and year, it's a small business. And the person that is running it is called a small business owner, not an entrepreneur. So a startup is run by an entrepreneur, and it's a company that is growing rapidly.